Take a look at the tarmac at Hartsfield-Jackson. It's the world's busiest airport, as you know, but it's now fighting turbulence in a different kind of way. At least $37.5 million in federal money meant for key upgrades are off the table, tied not to travel, but a fight over diversity policies. City leaders say the loss in funding won't ground operations, but it does raise questions about how the airport will pay for projects and whether the city will bend or stand firm on its DEI commitments. Here to help us understand the fallout from this funding is Wesley Longhofer. He's the Associate Professor of Organization and Management at Emory. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
All right. Please explain to us how this tug of war between federal rules and local values makes sense for people just trying to catch a plane.
Well, I think one way to think about it is that all the headlines have been about Atlanta losing $37 million. But another way to think about it is that perhaps Atlanta thought that the economic benefit of these programs over 40 years is worth more than $37 million. You think about the impact the airport has. $60 billion in the Georgia economy, 60,000 employees or more. It's a huge player in our local economy, and perhaps they decided that it's worth it to keep these programs to support these small businesses than to do away with those programs to keep that $37 million. Yeah. It's important to keep in mind that $37 million is about 10% of the capital budget for all these upgrades. And so I imagine they're looking for other ways to find those funds.
You said it's not 10%, it's about 10%, or is it not 10%?
What I've read is it's roughly about 10% of the overall budget for upgrades.
So what's really at stake here? Is it the money itself, or is it the message that Atlanta is sending and standing by its DEI programs?
Well, I think if you think about the importance of these programs in our city, that the programs that are being scrutinized by the current federal administration are programs that originated with our airport. You look at what Maynard Jackson did to help support minority-owned businesses in our city. Doubled the number of Black-owned businesses during his tenure, a lot of that due to the airport and the contracts that businesses were getting. You think about the impact that has on employment, wealth generation. Now, we still have a long way to go in our city to close some of these gaps, but it's hard to imagine our airport being what it is without Maynard Jackson's efforts to help support small businesses. Mm-hmm. So I think it is about the values of our city, the identity of Atlanta, and this is kind of the Atlanta way to go out and take a stand on what they think is right for civil rights or social justice in our city. It does come with an economic cost, but I'm pretty confident that the mayor's office and the airport are looking for other ways to make up those funds. Yeah,
our viewer here is $37 million. They may be wondering, is that going to change the way the airport operates from day to day?
It doesn't appear to, from my knowledge, that this was going to be for upgrades on things like bathrooms, some sustainability programs that the airport had put in place to kind of reduce emissions. Again, we all want clean bathrooms and functioning bathrooms when we go to the airport. I don't anticipate this is going to disrupt daily operations in any way. I'm pretty confident in our airport to continue functioning without that $37 million, but I also can't predict the future.
Yeah. Do you think this is a one-off fight, or do you think this is the beginning of a trend where cities have to choose between money and DEI?
That's a really good question. I think what we've seen, whether it's universities, corporations, cities, this is a collective action problem. It's hard for any single organization or city to push back on their own, right? You want to do that kind of together with other cities and work together. We know that some cities are taking this to the courts and trying to take it to stop this this decision by the Trump administration to stop it at the court system. Atlanta decided to go a different way. I think collectively, cities are going to be looking to Atlanta for guidance on how to do this. Mm-hmm. These programs originated here. They're part of who we are, and this is a chance for Atlanta to lead the way.
Is it now, and I don't know if you know the answer to this question, but does the airport now look for private funding from somewhere else? They fundraise? How do they work that out to meet the gap?
They might go to bonds and try to raise it through bonds. They could do it through fees at the airport. I imagine that they're going to be pretty creative about this. They might go to philanthropic sources to help cover that gap, or they might be able to stretch the rest of the capital money to meet those upgrades without this $37 million. There's still a chance that the city might go back to the administration and get some of that money back, but the city's been pretty clear that they don't want to walk back on those commitments.
Yeah. As an Atlanta resident, why should you care about this debate? What would you tell people?
I'd say, like, think about all the different spillover effects that the airport has on our economy, all the people it employs, the small businesses it supports. Atlanta is where it is because that airport has been so successful. And so think about all the different ways that airport serves us, whether you're flying or not. We want to continue that work, and this has been a key part of that work. And so I think this is Atlanta just trying to figure out a way to keep doing what it does well. And I have faith in our great city, in our airport.
Absolutely. Only got a couple seconds left here. What would be, and I'm looking at worst case scenario, right? If they lost more funding, what would be one of the first things we would see as a difference?
Maybe the hand washing stations won't work in the bathrooms. I don't anticipate this is going to have a huge effect on the airport's operations. It's a massive budget, and this is a very small piece of it, and they're probably going to make up that money somewhere else. This is about Atlanta sticking to its values, and so I don't think it's going to disrupt daily operations at the airport in any way.
Wesley Longhofer, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for your insight this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, not a problem.